sports fans from all around the globe. I'm your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is the closing bell for Thursday, January 27th. Just 4 days left of January already. Holy cow. Everyone on the East Coast, Cape Cod, Boston, go run to the store, get your eggs, your bread, your milk. It's coming. It's coming. As in The Shining, what did he say? Here's Johnny. Right now it looks on the Cape 18 to 24 inches. So higher up towards P-Town less and further in a little more. So we're getting 1.5 feet or more. So starting Friday afternoon, early evening, all day Saturday night. So hopefully by Sunday at some point we'll be officially out of the woods and hopefully we'll be ready for some football. Last night here at the closing bell when I was flying solo as my co-host was out getting a new set of eyes, and I think he's ready to go in stage right now. I talked about Butler. The Butler did it in the kitchen with the candlestick. Plus 2.5 won outright. Talked about Bradley, short favorite, and huge steam came on them late. Now they go box to wire. Oklahoma +2 at West Virginia, win outright. Couple that I had leans that looked like the dogs could hang around. One that I was dead wrong on, Penn State versus Indiana. Indiana got up 20 in a heartbeat there. Utah, San Diego State, that number probably moved a lot because a couple of the Utah State guys were out there. But the true kick in the nuts last night was the Bruins +160. I told you that opening line stunk to high heaven. It smelt an Avs team that was 9-0-1 in its last 10. A Bruins team that took a 3-1 lead into the third period and gave up a goal with 10 minutes to go, 3-2. I can tell you, if you don't follow the live in-game, with 5 minutes to go, the Bruins were -5,000 and the Avs were +1,100. Avs pulled the goaltender. They scored with 37 seconds left, and they went in overtime 4-3. So that was a big kick in the you-know-what. But it is what it is. We're here today. Had a great show this afternoon with at the midday market report with my buddy Colton Soroka from Chicago. We'll bring his partner in tomorrow, Riley, talking some cheesehead football and stuff. But without further ado, the man from the Palm Tree State, which I am going to be screaming at for the next 3 to 4 days, as he'll be sitting there in his tank tops, his shorts, watering the plants, mowing his lawn, the one and only Mr. Scott E. Webb. Scotty, my brother, what's happening?
Jeffrey, it sounds to me like you guys are gonna have nothing to do except I don't know, watch some football, watch some basketball, do some stuff. You're not gonna go nowhere if it's gonna be snowing that bad.
Well, the key here is this. It's going to be blizzard whiteout conditions. They're talking about winds of over 70 miles an hour. So if you get that wet, heavy snow, we're screwed because you're going to get trees falling down. You're going to get power lines falling down. And that's the comical joke is if you run to the store and fill your fridge and freezer and then you lose power for 3-4 days, it's all gone. You got to throw it out and start over. So the key success is obviously keeping the power, keeping the internet. I have a dish right on the side of my home, and certain storms, I got to go out there every 45 minutes with a broom and jump to get the snow off the dish so I can still have the cable working.
No, I understand. We ditched my dish probably 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little longer. We get the rains that come through, and they're not here very long. But when they rain, you can't get the damn signal. So I'm like, you know what? The hell with this thing. And upgraded to get the best cable that I can get. And it is what it is. So, I mean, I miss having cable. I thought it was a great thing, but not cable, the dish, but I can't keep the signal. So it is what it is. I mean, you know, you might be a little envious of us down here over the weekend. But look, It's going to be cold this weekend here. I mean, I know it's not going to be cold like up there, but it's going to be cold this weekend here. I mean, shit, we might hit 40.
Well, it's funny because in between shows and work today, I was trying to reach out. We have some timeshare, and it's getting close to the Vegas trip. Don't know if I'm doing 2 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks out there from the mid-March till the end of March, and hopefully the start of baseball. So I'm trying to get all that stuff aligned. Off the strip the first week, on the strip the second week, yada yada yada. But they were being a little uncooperative, so that's for another day. I didn't have enough time to deal with that nonsense. Tonight, only 2 games on the NBA docket for you. Before I get to that, as we're getting closer to Thursday to Sunday, just going off of what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing. Listen, I'm not playing that card that Cincinnati has no chance. Okay, so in other words, I know everyone's expectations is Kansas City to win this game. I get that part of it. Okay, so I don't want to see the 3, 4, 5 people that are sitting there. If Cincinnati does pull off the upset, I told you so. I told you so. That no one gave us a chance. Please stop. Okay. I'm not in that side of the street. I think it's going to be a real good game. Here's what I'm afraid of. I said it on Sunday. I'd say it on Monday. I'm saying it again on Thursday. I'm just a little leery if KC comes out a little flat, because I can see that happening, especially after what happened in the Bills game. And if Joe can get out early, anything can happen. And then in the second game again, I know the third time around, but someone put up a stat that actually, if you beat them the first 2 times, the number's not what you expect. There's a lot of times they do beat them the third time. And it's a game where, again, if they can establish the run, Jimmy picks his spots. If Debo's 100%, if Kittle's 100%. But anything you're seeing in your side of your world on any of these games that might lean to an early lean and to buy now, or are you just sitting back and watching the numbers?
No, I don't. I think it's too early. In a sense that, if you like the Kansas City side, why not wait and see if you can get some Bengal money coming in and take it at 6.5 somewhere down the line. If you like the San Francisco side, you got to wait till it gets to 4 again. So it's one of those kind of things where the numbers are where they are in the middle of the week, in my opinion. I think that in terms of the way I'm leaning on these games, I'm leaning on Kansas City and I'm leaning on San Francisco on the spreads. The one thing that I can't get out of my head in that San Francisco game is if you want to beat the Rams and you want to beat that pressure on the quarterback, you just run the football at those guys. You play power football, you run the ball, you run right at Donald. I know that sounds stupid as hell, but you run right at Donald, you run right at Miller, you run right at Howard, you Floyd. And the truth about that defense is their inside linebackers aren't very good. Reeder and Howard are not very good players. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to them. It's just stacking up against everybody else's middle linebackers. Like, San Francisco's got Warner in the middle. So he plays great. So if you, and that's the recipe that I think San Francisco has used. I went back and looked at the last 5 times they played. The Rams can't run the football against the 49ers. So if they can't run the ball against the 49ers, they gained 100 yards, I think, in one of the games that they played in the 5 games. And so that means they got to throw the ball all over the place. And I get it. But if you're throwing the ball all over the place against the 49ers pressure defense and that what they can do on the front line and getting to the quarterback, then I think that's how you beat this team. So the difference in this defense versus the Bucs defense, San Francisco can pressure the passer better, and they can play defensive secondary better than what Tampa Bay could. So that's where that edge kind of falls in line. And I get it. Everybody talks about, this will be the 3rd time you can't beat a team 3 times and all that stuff. Well, you can if the team's better. I mean, if the team's better than the other team, they can beat them 5 times, 10 times, however many times. So So I'm not suggesting necessarily that San Francisco's the greatest team in the world and that they're way better than the Rams. But I am going to tell you that I think that I kind of like this like a 24-23 kind of game. Right down to the wire, right down to the end. And between the two quarterbacks, it's a flip of the coin to me. I mean, I know everybody likes the guy over in the Rams. I know they like him because okay, he's great and blah blah blah. Okay, well that guy's thrown 17 interceptions this year. He ain't that damn great. And the way that Shanahan runs the offense, he puts Jimmy G in positions where normally he can win, and he goes out and throws the ball all over the place does stupid stuff too. So if you ask me, I think that the game plan wise sets up for San Francisco a little better here, and I think San Francisco can cover this game. And I think Cincinnati's in trouble.
It's funny. I'm just going through in my head. You could have that rematch of a couple of years ago. San Fran versus Kansas City. In that game, I was surprised. KC opened up 1.5. Got some San Fran money. Went back and forth. I think KC closed. And people have amnesia here is the fact that the Niners dominated that game for 3 quarters, and Jimmy G was one pass away. He had someone down the field for like 35, 40 yards wide open and missed them. If they complete that pass, most likely they're the Super Bowl champs there. If you get a KC Rams game, here's the real intriguing part. It will be a home game for the Rams, technically, but we know it's not going to just be Ram fans there. If I asked you today, if it was Kansas City versus the Rams, just off the top of your head, what do you think the opening line would be?
I'm just going to think that it's going to be somewhere around Kansas City -1, Kansas City -1.5.
Same thing. I got KC -1.5. And if you look at the Super Bowl odds, they actually might even tend to be a little higher. Listen, if they ever opened up Kansas City -2.5 or 3, I mean, I think the world would run to the window, obviously, and grab that Ram money to start. But I think you're going to get some good two-way action either which way. And I think if you got a Kansas City San Fran game, I think you'd see Kansas City about 2.5 maybe to start.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that the problem with the Rams is that they've got star power. They don't have team power. They've got guys that you've heard of and guys that go, oh, these are fantasy players. They got those guys. Let me just hit you with this. So since week 10, and including the playoffs, the success rate on defense for the Rams, they rank 26th in all football. 26. That means that they are allowing teams successful runs against them. Their defense, I'm sorry, that was the rushing that they have on offense. The defense is 11th and 12th, and you would have thought that was much higher because of all the stuff you hear about how great their defense is. But then you flip the switch and you look at San Francisco's success rate against them. They're second in the league against the run and 9th in passing. So that's where defense really shows up. It shows up in consistent play over and over. And if you look at the EPA part of it, it's still that way for the 49ers. They got a better defense and a more consistent offense. And that doesn't mean they have an explosive offense because the Rams have more explosion. But I don't. You're not betting on explosion. You're betting on who's going to win the game and how things are going to play out and what the game plan strategy looks like. And I think Shanahan's been there now several times. I think he's coached big games. I mean, they didn't even score an offensive touchdown last week, and they win the game because of how the turnovers didn't happen, and not that they didn't try. But stuff happened according to the way it should have gone, and he kept them in the game without having Jimmy G do all kinds of stupid stuff. They didn't go off course. And my thought about Cincinnati, that team's all Joe Burrow, and I get it. And then Jamar Chase, and I get it. Those are two great guys. They're great players. But this offense is not Tennessee's offense that you're going to go play against. And if you're going to get sacked 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, 9 times, whatever that number is going to end up being, you are not going to outscore Kansas City. And you can be the best defense in all football, and Kansas City is still going to put up 20-some points. So, they're going to score 30 at home. It doesn't matter. They're just going to put it on the board. They're going to score 30. The question becomes is how many over 30 do they get? I got them scoring 38 points in this game, Jeff.
Holy shit. Well, we got Friday, Saturday, and obviously Sunday to talk about it. Tonight's board, 2 games in the NBA. Anything hit your numbers?
Yeah, there's one game that I'm really interested in, and I'm just going to caution everybody. The numbers have been really good up till the last 3 or 4 days. In the last 3 days, I've been getting beat by 2 points here, 3 points there, 4 points here, whatever the numbers. I've just been getting beat. And I haven't been putting out many plays. So, if you go 0-1, you go 0-2, you go 0-1, you're still 0-4, but it sucks. But, we were just having a pretty good run. But there are only 2 games. I don't like the Laker-Philly game. My computer won't tell me who's going to win the game. It says that the prediction score is 108-108. I hate it when my computer does that. I'm like, I want to know who's going to win the damn game. Anyway, I do like the Minnesota Golden State game for a couple of reasons. Number one, Golden State's starting to figure out how to play again. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They're on a 3-game win streak. They got a pretty good rest advantage at home. And in the last 5 games, this streak that they're on, they're allowing an average of 98 points per game. And this game they're playing is against Minnesota, who scores quite a bit of points. This line is 229.5 as a total, unless it moved on me and I'm not paying attention. It's still
229 now.
229.5. This is the second largest total all year for Golden State's games, all year. And this team is playing really well at home on defense right now. So my computer won't pick a winner in this game either. It says 222, 111, 111. But I can't get over the idea that gives me a lot of buffer space, meaning that these teams that Minnesota Golden State is playing, they are not allowing them to score the points. They gave up 121 points in this series. Homestand to Indiana, and everybody else has been under 100. Everybody. So I'm gonna sit here and tell you that I think the under is the right way to go. And then even when you look at the Minnesota side, this is the 3rd largest total in all of their games. And how can you have it be the largest total against the defense that's 9% better at home than the average defense? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So I'm going to play this game under 229.5.
Funny because on Twitter, gambling Twitter, there's a few guys out there that stick their chests out. They've been nailing the Golden State unders at home. And I just look at them. And like you said not too long ago, the totals aren't those 235, 240s anymore. And this looks like a high total to me, especially for Golden State at home. So it would definitely be interesting, but Minnesota plays that type of ball that, every once in a while, Golden State likes to go up and down and put up 130. So it will be interesting there for sure. The Lakers-Philly game, again, I talked till I was blue in the face Monday. Was it Monday or Tuesday? With the Lakers being favored at at New Jersey, excuse me. And they ended up winning that game by 10. Philly, I'm just looking at that number. It opened at 2. They're begging you to take Philly. Let's be honest here. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Last night on the VIPs, we went again into one NBA game that smelt to high heaven. one of the hottest teams in the NBA, Phoenix, was just a 2-point favorite over at Utah. I mean, they were just begging you for Phoenix money, and the public wins. I mean, they outscored them by 18 in the first quarter. Utah cuts it to 2 at half, and you would think, all right, here they go, ready to roll. Get outscored in the third quarter, and then in the fourth quarter with a minute to go, cut it to 2 again, but ended up losing by 6. So NBA.
Well, the only thing I'll tell you in that Los Angeles Laker game is that LeBron James is a game time decision.
And it crept from 2 to 4. So they're kind of telling you, they still don't know. If I tell you that right now, if LeBron does not play, that number goes to 6 immediately, if not 6
or higher.
Yeah.
Like he's averaging 30 points a game over the last 10 games.
So keep an eye on that one. I don't have a report there. It's at a flat 4.5 at South Point, and at Caesar. So keep an eye there. On the college scene, interesting board. We had Colton on earlier today on the midday market report, and he gave out a handful of games, and he's a mid-major king, and I looked at a few of those mid-majors. I'm just going to tell you what my eyes see. And I'm going to start actually at 7 o'clock, rotation number 761, 762. As Colton was analyzing this, I was taking his numbers, and it just didn't add up. This opened up at a real high total at 148. Middle Tennessee State and Marshall. I like the over here. Keep an eye on that. You can get it at 147.5 at South Point. Over 147.5, 148, Middle Tennessee State and Marshall. Here we go, guys. If you were listening to the show a couple days ago, the game that made 0 sense, 0, an NC Wilmington team at Northeastern that had won undefeated in league play, had won like 8 in a row versus a team that's lost 6 or 7 in a row and winless or 1 win in conference. We give out Northeastern up 12 first half, play grab ass the rest of the way, and then they lose by 6. Well, guess what? They're playing again. And the line opened at 5. It's a shot to 4, 62% of the bets, 61% of the money on Wilmington, yet it went from 5 to 4. So, with that said, rotation number 765, we will go back to the well. Northeastern, plus the 4, and you can get them probably plus 140 on the money line. That would be number 2. And congrats yesterday who watched the show. You grabbed some Butler early, plus 2.5, won outright. Bradley minus 2 beats Valpo. Oklahoma plus 2 wins at West Virginia. Thought Penn State might be a sneaky dog, and they got blown off the map. So had some good eyes again. We've had some great eyes during the week here. There was a couple more I wanted to point out. It's been a pretty big flip. Rotation number 799, 800. Take a look at North Dakota State. You might be able to grab them around 124 on the money line. They opened up plus 1. They're minus 2 now. North Dakota State, rotation number 799. The same flip on Florida International, rotation number 805 at UTSA. Opened up plus 2, now minus 2.5. Keep an eye on that flip. This one makes no sense to me. UAB has been a hell of a team this year. They travel to Western Kentucky, rotation number 821, 822. Hilltoppers have been a phenomenal road home dog. They opened up plus 4, now minus 3. 82% of the bets, 86% of the money coming in on Western Kentucky. Everyone thinking the same here. I'm staying away. I have to respect the UAB opening up minus 4 there. Probably the game of the night, rotation number 822. I'm sorry, 823, 824. Purdue at Iowa at 9 o'clock tip. Purdue opens up 2.5. It hasn't moved yet. 53% of the bets, 86% of the money all coming in on Purdue. So I would lean Iowa there plus the 2.5 and probably around plus 117 on the money line. This one makes no sense. Rotation number 859, 860. BYU at Santa Clara opened at 3, still at 3. That's despite 61% of the bets, 56% of the money on BYU. I think Santa Clara plus the 3 is a live dog to be reckoned with here. And this could be the stench of the night. Rotation number 863, 864. Colorado at Washington. Colorado opens up at 2.5, staying at 2.5. Yet receiving 61% of the bets, 58% of the money. A true line freeze here. I think the world's on Colorado. They're playing a lot better. Yet I think Washington plus the 2.5 and plus the 118 on the money line is a live dog as well. Scotty, anything else, my brother? Anything you saying?
No, I mean that I was watching what you're saying and looking at pregame and kind of keeping up with what you're looking at. The numbers aren't quite always the same with them versus everybody else, and especially with the ticket sizes. You got some pros versus Joes out there today, and you just be careful. I mean, these are college kids, and look, I it's way too many games for me to deal with in terms of that part of it. So I leave that to you guys. I do the college football. I mean, that's 131 schools, so I can do that. I can do the baseball, I can do the basketball, but I can't do the NBA or the college basketball.
Did you, when you were on pregame and some of the games I was talking about, was there any discrepancies that you saw?
Well, the only discrepancy type things is okay, the percentage of the money is different than the percentage of the tickets. So there's a couple times when the money was the same as what you were talking about, but the tickets were different. So that's what I mean by pros versus Joes. There wasn't anything crazy different.
I would assume that the Purdue Iowa is probably the most heavily bet game.
The most heavily bet game, if I go back, Wisconsin, Nebraska has $250,000 bet on that game for some reason.
Because it's a 5 o'clock start. That's why.
Oh, okay. So that's a big one. And then if you go down to the next one, that Iowa game is down here. I saw it's got $74,000 bet on that game, and it is the next highest one.
Well, how much money was on the Wisconsin-Nebraska game?
250,000.
Well, I'll take the over 250,000 that Purdue and Iowa passes that one by the end of the day.
Yeah, it's 74,000 right now, and it's showing 52% of the money is on Purdue, 55% of the ticket. I'm sorry, 52% of the money is on Iowa, 55% of the tickets is on Purdue.
I can tell you this Purdue team. I'll tell you a quick story here, wrapping up. 2 years ago, we went against Purdue. And I think they were playing Iowa, but it was at Purdue. Purdue put up 60 points in the first half, and they put up like 104 points for the game. And I'm not exaggerating here. The next 2 games combined, they didn't score 103 points. So it's comical. Some of the matchups, some teams just really, really look good against each other. Their offenses run freely. They're hitting the 3. It's just amazing. You can do all the work like here at ECSI where we take the overnight numbers. We're already looking into tomorrow's games. And then you take the morning numbers, and then you're following all afternoon and night. And then you get to the work. Like last night, Tulsa and Tulane, it was like a 70-30 split, and the line would not get off a 3. And it just was like, this is you watch, it's a Tulsa game. And 11-11, I was like, all right, next flash, they got outscored 30-11. And I was like, yep, thanks for playing. So, shit happens. But I want to thank a few of our big-time supporters here that are always on the shows, that are always asking questions or just checking in and saying hi. Mr. Lucky at Follow Fade. I can't thank you enough, myself and Scott. You're going to be impressed when you see something early next week. Trust me on that. I don't want to spoil the fun yet, but trust me, you are not forgotten on this. So thank you to Mr. Lucky, Mr. Billy Hewlin, Mr. Marty Lowe, always checking in with us. And then on Twitch, we got a handful of guys from other countries that if I could pronounce your name, I would pronounce your name, but usually I can't pronounce your name. But we're here to help, not we're here to educate, not entertain. We do crack a joke or two. And we don't win every day. We don't win every week. And unfortunately, we don't win every month. But you know what we do is we show up. We take our losses in stride. We don't hide behind the mic. I don't put on disguises. Same face, same back channel, and the same with Scott. And we just keep plugging along. And that's what we plan to do as we hit February next Monday or Tuesday. February is next Tuesday, February 1st. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Scotty Webb at Webby20MLB, we wish you a blessed evening. We hope that everyone here tonight is wagering responsibly, staying in your lane, having a little fun with these games. And if you're not, well, pick up the phone. There's an 800 number right there. Ask for help. Why? Because we want you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. The weekend is almost here. Enjoy yourselves. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow on the Breakfast Bankroll.